Hello, you. I'm me. Welcome to the Winding Road Podcast. Likely, this is our first ever episode, unless I decide to post the pre-clip on Mike Day episodes before this. They do sound pretty good, but I think I'm going to save those for extra episodes on Patreon. And everything I believe on my socials at GaryMartinMedia, except for Twitter. Like, I made one post on Twitter about some NFT stuff, and I don't know what I did wrong, but I got banned. Elon, can you help a brother out? Let me get back up on the Twitter. Honestly, I'm good. I'm good on being on that. I'm good on being on any of them, to be totally 100% honest with you. If I didn't feel like that I needed to do it and I could still, blow up or get big or, sell some books, sell some art, whatever, but it's the way of the world. I realize that. And I don't totally dislike it, but I do really, really like to just live my life in the natural world. But talking comes naturally to me, so that's why we're here on the Winding Road Podcast. I do really enjoy these things. And, I do enjoy putting my art and stuff out there. Hopefully, people will like it, and that will kind of help me, inspire me to do some more of it. But ultimately, the goal is to start my own charity called Love, Inspire, and Unite. So give me a second as I go around this corner, and I'll show you what I want to do here. It is a rainy, nasty, but every day is a blessing day here on the road of life. It's getting hot in here. I need to turn this heater down. Not even hot outside. But it's just like a little nasty, What is it? It is kind of cold, about 48 degrees. But I want to get a tattoo right here. It'd be the Hebrew symbol for spirit. No, I'm not Jewish. Everybody's, got their own beliefs or non-beliefs. But I like to believe that it's a good thing to be spiritual, and so I'm a very spiritual person. I am a Christian, but I'm also very, very open-minded. I'm sure people would argue that I'm agnostic, but I'm not, because I do believe in the Bible, do believe Jesus died for my sins, but I'm also a believer that anything is possible, and I am always willing to hear what somebody else believes and why they may not believe in something and something else. There's all different sides, man, of everything. Really, it's just kind of like Earth, kind of like the sun, the stars, our eyeballs, everything, that, like our eyes, man, like the soul, all that kind of stuff, and seeing just different sides of everything. It's like I said, it's like a circle. There's just really just little pinpoints of different views just kind of everywhere on the globe of our minds, the globe of our thoughts, the globe of our spirit. But I want to get that tattooed on me because, like I said, I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe in putting spirit over the flesh. So that's why I want to put that symbol, symbolize the spirit, on top of my flesh, spirit over flesh. But if you flip that upside down, that symbol, it looks like an L, an I, and a U. Love, Inspire, Unite. That's going to be the name of the charity. That's going to be the goal of the charity. Because that's what I'm here to do. Plain and simple. Oh boy, stay on your side of the road, buddy. That'd be really great. That's what I'm here to do, is I'm here to love, I'm here to inspire, and I'm here to unite. And I'm doing that through a whole lot of different things all going on at one time. What's that new movie called? Everything Happening, Everything All at Once, or something like that. I saw that and I was like, God, they stole my idea like that. Oh, but nothing can be stolen. I mean, I still came up with that, but yet it was already created, right? Because I didn't know about that. I actually wrote a poem where, it's just a bunch of random things that are going on in life, going on everywhere. I'm talking the most beautiful things and the most horriblest of things. It's all in that one poem, which will be coming out in my poetry book called Sanity in the Chaos somewhere down the line here. Still looking for an editor for my main novel, The Bottom Drops Out. Yes, I'd like to find an editor and a publisher for that eventually. You know what? But it may come down, I'm just going to do this whole thing my doggone self. It's quite possible. I had an offer for my novel, but I turned it down. It was my first offer, and I went with my gut. I don't usually a whole heck of a lot. Majority, I probably second guess myself and end up going with my second guess rather than my first guess. And I do think for the most part, if you're going with your gut, you're probably, you know, if you got good intuition and just a good sense of who you are, then I think it's a very good thing to go with your gut. If you don't, then maybe you want to try to question, but then you're just doubting yourself. You know, and I don't want to doubt myself, but I do question myself because I want to make sure I'm getting it right. I want to make sure I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing to the best of my abilities. But whenever it comes down to you have to make a decision, you know, trust what you're feeling. Like if you're spiritual like me, maybe pray on it, meditate on it, or just plain good old-fashioned thinking about it. Use your noggin. Think about it. And try to figure it out and see what you come up with. Give me 1 second, guys. I got a full thoughts on the road here. A man was getting his mail in the rain, getting wet. Didn't have a jacket on, didn't have a coat on. He's got his mail. Now his mail's getting wet. Oh no, Fluffy. So yeah, anyways, I trusted my gut on turning that book deal down because I really want to focus on building everything up that I'm doing around that. And I, you know, talking about like second guessing myself a lot. Well, I like, what if I just put the novel out to the world and that's the thing that catches on, and then everything else that I'm doing catches on behind it. But in reality, I got a bunch of darts and I'm throwing them at the wall. Art, books, articles, YouTube shows, this podcast, just thoughts on life. We're throwing them out, throwing them to the board, trying to get them to as many people as I can, to help as many people as I can as they go down their winding road of their lives. And so that's what we're doing here. That's what the goal is of this podcast. It's going to be random stuff sometimes. Most of the time it's going to be philosophical, but who knows? I might get on here and talk about God knows what. And God only knows. And God is love. Number one, first and foremost. If I believe in anything, you say, well, do you believe in God? Yes, I do. I believe in God. God is love. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. There's just too many things that line up so perfectly that allow us to even be here that tells me that there has to be something more. May or may not be, but that's what I believe. And obviously, you know, faith. Definition, believing without seeing. And that's what I have to do right now, is I have to believe that whenever I release these darts, that they're going to hit the board at least, hopefully, if not a triple 20 or the bullseye. But I think sometimes I get caught up in doing a whole lot of different things, and then I ultimately don't get anything accomplished. But I try not to have that thought because I realize that it's not true. Whatever it is that may be that's lying to me, lying to myself. Apologize to you guys on the video here. We're working through some kinks. Hopefully it'll stay up. Come on, baby, stay in your spot. But throwing darts at the wall, and there's just a lot going on. So if I find myself putting a focus into one thing for like real hard, I go hard at one thing out of the many things that I'm doing. I'm going really hard at it, but then I'll just stop and then I'll go hard at something else. And I don't know if that's a product of I don't have enough time, but in reality, I have a lot of time. You know, I mean, I work I don't know, 30 hours a week maybe. Like I got it really good. What am I doing putting my blinker on? I'm going around the curve. Dummy, yeah. Doing a whole lot of that. And I'm working, so I'm making money, so I'm able to support myself and able to support what I'm doing. And I feel like, I know I'm getting a lot accomplished, but sometimes I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere because it's just a slow crawl on whatever it is that I'm doing. About hit a pothole there. But I realize I have to keep going, and I realize I have to keep doing things, and it's just a matter of being consistent with it. And I think it's really just a matter of not being afraid to put myself out there to the world. Because I know that I'm a pretty smart guy, but I also realize that I'm a complete dumbass. And I'm able to see both sides, all sides of the spectrum on who I am, but I continue to find out who I am every single day. And I worry about as I get older, like, do you hit a peak or does that fade? Does that start to fade then at some point in time? I mean, likely, yes, obviously, but just with your brain function, and if, if you have these things that are in your head, at least make a note of them and mark them down, because if you don't, there's no chance. There's no guarantee, rather, that you're going to be able to, that they're going to come back to you and that you're going to be able to remember them all. So, at least jot a few pointers down so that you can go back to that if you're not able to get down what you need to get down in the moment to its fullest capacity. At least get something down, then whenever you have the time, expand on it later. It's the good old-fashioned, what do they call that? Brainstorming session. And that's what this is going to be a lot on the podcast. Like I said, we'll cover different things, but really it's just a stream of consciousness. I think, I heard that word the other day, and I'm just, I don't know. I don't try to put a label on anything, but I guess that's what it was called. And so that's what we're going to do here. Really struggling with this video, man. I apologize to you guys on the video side and on the audio side for having to wait through it. You're like, I'm out of here. This guy's a dummy. But really, I'm not. I'm trying to get the best setup I can, but it's not really easy whenever you're going down the winding road to get the best setup. And I've found that a lot of the things that I've been doing so far, just like glitches with technical issues or whatever it may be, what have you, there's just all these obstacles that just keep getting thrown in my way. And I'm like, why? Why is this happening? Why can't this be easier? Number one, cliche time, yeah, life's not fair. Number one, so I do realize that, but I also really, truly believe that it is the darkness, the hate, whatever, the bad, the heels. If you're a wrestling fan, it's the heel. It's the bad guy. He's coming after me, trying to stop me from being great. But I realize I think that's what it is. It's just because I'm destined for greatness. I believe that. I know that to be true. Deep in my heart, I know that to be true. So I think that's why I just get a whole lot of obstacles thrown in my way. But God bless, I love the Rocky movies, man. I'm not a real good quoter on movies, so I'm probably trying to butcher a few quotes from that. But just because you can't remember something, to get it out, to try out of your subconscious into your conscious, it's still sitting in your subconscious, and it's still making you a part of it's still a part of who you are, because it's still in there. And it's the feeling, it's the feeling that I think about, and it's the energy more than anything. It's the energy from those watching inspirational stuff, whether it be a movie like the Rockies and the Creeds, or whether it be getting on a podcast and listening to somebody like me, or whoever it may be that can help to inspire you. It's the energy, it's the positive energy flow that's what we're trying to get out here. This is kind of an introductory podcast and I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but we're going to go really deep sometimes. Like I've already been pretty doggone deep in some of those other videos as well, and that's what this is going to be about. Really glad on this rainy day that I got, oh, look at that beautiful creek flow. Man, that is just magnificent. Right on the side of the roads, trailing down, coming down from the hills. Extravagant, man. That's so beautiful. I'm watching the Rain-X do its job on my windows. It's raining at a good steady pace. I don't know if you can hear it coming through this microphone or not, but no need for the wipers. Got that Rain-X, go through the car wash, baby. Oh, yes, but I go to the dang car wash, and I go through, and then I'm like, I don't want to vacuum. I spent like 30, 40 minutes. Hell, I even cleaned out my trunk partially. Wiped every little nut and cranny. I was thinking about my buddy who has a detailing service while I was doing it. You know, I was like, he does a top-notch job. And again, this is going back to an inspiring thing. He does a top-notch job on all the cars he does. And I'm just like, when I was cleaning, I'm like, I'm going to pretend like I'm him and I'm doing a job for somebody. Because if I can't do my best work for myself, then I can't do my best work for anybody. So I have to take pride in what I do. So I clean the hell out of that son of a bitch. Yeah, and then it's like a dirty, like, oh God, like a week later now, I think. Pretty trash. So it's like, what's the point? I mean, you got to at least keep it somewhat clean so shit don't rust. Not necessarily a car, but just anything, so stuff don't rust, so it just doesn't get to the point where you can't clean it. And I think that's important for your mind and your soul and your spirit. Like, if you just keep adding gunk and going overboard and over consuming on whatever you do, like that stuff adds up, man. It really does. And I'm a big believer in moderation. And so that's helped me. Like this past year, I stopped drinking, been over a year ago now. Not that I really had a problem with it, but I think if I'm honest enough, like it did. It's not like I drink even 5 days. I mean, sure, in my early 20s and stuff, yeah, we were at the bar 5 days a week playing pool. That's why I'm a pool shark, a pool master. I suck. But in my later 20s, definitely 3 days a week. I've gone years before, maybe only one time after I turned 21 where I stopped drinking. But this time, man, it was just because I realized that I'm not as young as I used to be, and hangovers are like 2 days long now. What the hell? First day physical hangover, second day mental hangover. So I was like getting nothing done, hardly at all. That would be like 2 days there where I didn't feel like writing. I just felt like laying around and watching TV, man. And like, that's not me. Like, I'm active. I love to be active. And you clean your car out, you clean your brain out, you get all the gunk out of everything, I think, by being active and being in nature, number one. Like I said, if I didn't have to do all the stuff with the socials, I probably wouldn't, but I don't necessarily mind it. I just have to keep myself in check. And that's why you see, put timers on stuff. Like even the social media apps themselves are putting timers on things now to remind you to take a break, man, because it's costing people. It has, there's no doubt. It's cost people their lives, but it's also probably prolonged and saved a lot of lives too. It's definitely positives and negatives. There's yings, there's yangs on almost everything in life, but really do a good job of cleaning it out by trying to be healthy and by trying to exercise and staying active. And I really love disc golf. That is my absolute favorite sport. It's really just the nature part. Like, I fell in love with it. I think I just fell in love with nature finally. I played sports all growing up, and yeah, some of them were outside, but Not like I'm over there like staring at the cloud or the stars saying, oh yeah, this is awesome. But now I am, and I've realized that there's more to life than just sports. But I still love sports, and I've really gotten back into them, but I'm also into a whole lot of other things now, and I'm becoming a complete person, and I'm becoming who I need to be. Uh-oh, little thing fell off. Hope that didn't affect it. My little thingy fell off on the drive there. What's that called? Oh boy, I majored in radio TV, and I can't even think of what the microphone shield. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's what that's called. But anyway, so that's just a little about me. It's a little bit of the rambling here so far. We'll try to keep these things to about 20, 30 minutes. That's usually about how long I'm on the road. So, sometimes, and other times we might go a little bit longer, but appreciate you guys listening. And just remember that I'm me, you're you, but we are each other. Love, inspire, unite. God bless.